so I'll cut them down into the corners. I can't put these two down yet because I've got the drainage pipe sticking up here, which need to cut that down and put an angle piece on so it comes up so it'll be square with the floor. So yeah, I'll have to get that tomorrow, and then I've got to basically tape all the DPC to like around the pipe, and then I can chamfer off these bits just so it lays flat on the angle of the pipe, and that'll be that. That'll be that bit done. I'll have to cut and rejig the existing waste pipe for now, but that'll be fine. Right, next job is to just keep cutting these and start now filling in the gaps in these rafters. As I say, it's only to the point probably to where that fixing spar goes across the truss, probably to that height down. Fill all them in, so it's basically where it's closest to the roof, where the roof's going to be on the internal space. So you've got to put 100mm, leave a 50mm gap for ventilation between the insulation and basically the barrier, if you like, the barrier sheet, what you can see, the white stuff. And then you've got to put 50mm on below the truss. So in effect you're having 150mm of insulation between the inside of the room and the roof, or the roof void, 50mm void. So that's the crack. That's why I've had to get the 50mm sheets as well. Obviously I don't need to put 50mm on here because all the insulation's going in there, and I'll just put a plasterboard over the top then. And obviously I've got to put plasterboard over the top of the 50mm as well, so I'll have to mark, when I put the 50mm insulation on, I'll have to mark where the centre of the joists are, because obviously I'll need to know that for when I do my fixings for the plasterboard. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, I'll get I don't know, a cup of tea first, dilly dilly. Plan for today is to get this drainage channel set in place at the right level in preparation for us laying these slabs. I'm still waiting for the slurry mix to be delivered. It's just like a tub what you mix into a slurry to paste on the back before you lay it onto the concrete slab or cement slab, whatever. So I've got a bit of drainage there. What I'm planning to do For all, I did have a pre-installed pipe there which goes into the drain for the stormwater. I'm not going to use it for what's going to be on here and what will actually fall onto here. That drain doesn't need to go into a drain, it can just go to the ground or into the floor. So what I plan on doing is just cutting out a channel on here and allow basically, you know, it to sit within that. And the opening will just be here and it'll just go to ground, because there's going to be hardly anything coming out of it. And what does can just go to ground, it doesn't matter. It'll save me trying to channel it into here when there's no need. So that's the plan. So I've just got to dig down now and I'm going to take this off and I'm going to cap it. I've got a cap there. So dig down, pull this off, cap it, backfill it, and then, as I say, I'll then chisel this off or cut it off to the right height and whatnot and allow it to go to ground. So that's what I'll crack on with now, dilly dilly. Well, what would you know? Just talking about that, the slurry mix has arrived, which is cool. It means I could actually contemplate laying the stone today. Yeah, so it's Pro-Pave primer, external tile fix. So as you can see there, just mix it up, paste it on the back, roller or brush, and you do that just before you lay it on top of your pre-leveled sort of cement mix, if you like, and that's it. And it basically creates a bond, a little bit like you would put PVA on a porous surface, just to give it some adhesion. It just prevents the tile moving once it's been laid, drying out too quickly and then not creating that bond. So definitely required, and I'm pleased it's arrived. Just got to contemplate now whether I press on and do a mix and start laying these slabs. Dilly dilly. So I'm getting there with my levels. I haven't finished putting the guttering in yet, but I've just started to get my levels sorted out. It's working out quite well actually. So to explain, so that's basically a bit of metal I've put on top, which will give us a good sort of 5mm to put bond on, because there's only going to be a thin strip of stone going on top of that plastic, which will basically be, if we have a look at the gutter in here, so it's going to be basically from that edge there to the edge of the door. So you're probably looking at what, 8 centimeters, 10 centimeters, something, 80mm. Yes, that'll be like a thin strip of stone which will be cut from this 6x6 here. That'll give us exactly enough there to do the cuts. Now I'm doing my levels now for the full length. So I've got this stone buttered right up against that, resting on the metal. We can see there I've got clearance of the door by probably another good 3mm or so. Looking at it from that kind of angle, which is perfect because I do want that as close as possible. Now it doesn't matter, I know the doors are level, they had to have been when they got installed, so I'm more than happy with that. I can do a test anyway, I can open the doors just to make sure they don't foul off the bottom. However, I do have to have basically a 1 centimetre fall for every metre, which is pretty much on the spirit level there. That's about right. So I put my long bit on there across. I made that pole level and then measured down 1 centimetre, which is basically a plank of that wood exactly. So that gives me exactly a 1 centimetre fall, albeit it's 1.2 metres, not 1 metre, but we're under a canopy, so it's not the end of the world. As I say, I'm not going to get a great deal of rainfall on here. I will if I get driving rain, but it doesn't matter, it's still going to run off and I've still got my guttering. and there is going to be some a 5mm gap at the very end there. And when I put my bonding on, I'll make sure there's little gaps so any water can find its way down to ground anyway, which is, you know, more than suffice. So if I pop that on there, you can see on the level there, that's literally just off the level, and as I say, that equates to a centimetre fall that way, which when you look at it from the side, you know, it looks more or less level, although it has got that gradual fall. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So my plan is, I've got to start from the very centre and work outwards. So I'll find the centre point. I've got my bit of metal ARS on the top, my bit of wood here, so I've got something now I can just drag and get the perfect level all the way across. Certainly all the way across from end point there to the other end. And then I'll just, you know, piece of wood or wherever, level it off across for that last little bit there and the offshot there. I'm going to have the drainage, to be fair, so as long as I get that drainage in nice and level with the top of the tile, I'll be able to create you know, a drag tool to make sure it's all level. That'll all make sense anyway, as and when I'm doing it. But yeah, it should be fairly straightforward. I don't have to muck about with string lines or anything. Everything's going to be pretty much straightforward. Mix, pour it in, drag back, put me slurry on the back, lay the tile, just tap it down very gently. Obviously I'll have to move the wood each time when I'm tapping down, just so it seats, make sure it's level, certainly that way. And I've got me one in, or my 1 centimetre fall, which I will. So yeah, everything will go off that centre tile, get that centre one bang on, and then everything will work its way out to the edges. I'll have a slight overhang on the end, and I'll have I think it's 30mm overhang on the front, and then I'll have some pointing to do underneath, just to fill in the gaps, just so I don't get anything going in there which you're not really going to see anyway, but it will need pointing up obviously. So it seems pretty straightforward, and I do think it's something I can just crack on with today now and get this put in. That'll be, I mean, that'll be just a great day's work if I can get this put in. I do have to go and get a porcelain cutter as well for the tiles to do them bits. But as I say, in the main, provided I get the centre tile done correctly, then I'm going to be happy days. What I will do is I'll put one each side up against the guttering, and then potentially, yeah, I will put a string line on across the front, and then I know how far to bring that centre one forward. So then it's going to line up when I get to the end where the guttering is, because I need that to be absolutely bob on, straight line all the way down. So yeah, I'll put one each end, string line on, and then I can just manoeuvre that tile to meet it exactly. Right, let's get to work. Dilly dilly. Okay, we'll progress a little bit more so we can see that's how flush the tile will come with the drainage. And we can see I've put concrete plugs in, screwed it to the wall all the way along so it's nice and level, all the way across. I had to cut a little bit of the brickwork out on the end. So basically, yeah, the tile's going to come that, and then I'm going to have that much of a gap, but going down to 1 centimetre, roughly 1.5 centimetres at the end. But as I say, I'll have a bit of an overhang, and these will just get cemented in just to get finished off, pointed. So although it's quite a big gap, probably looks worse than what it is on there, but because the tile is going to come down at the bottom of that first part there. Yeah, that'll be fine. I can trim this off once the tile's in, because I don't know the exact overhang yet, and then I can cut it off nice and flush. As I say, there's minimal going to come out the end there anyway, but it's more to give us the distance. So I could use 1200 stones to get me overhang at the front, and also it's acting as a bit of a DPC, so I'm not having water right up against the brickwork. My DPC is actually there. That's the DPC level. You might just be able to see a little bit of the plastic. So that's DBC level, so we definitely need a water barrier there just to stop water always trying to pass that DBC. Not that it can, but there we go. Right, got a bit of a mess going on now with the cutter being out, but hey ho. Right, so I'll screw that other side into place, and then really, yeah, I've got to make it. I've got to get a bit of wood cut that I'll be using to drag the cement, because I'll have to cut a notch out for the height of the tile on that side, but flat at the other, just so when I scrape the cement, it's allowing for the thickness of the tile itself, or slate or stone, whatever you want to call it. Get that done, and then I can start doing my mixing, get my centre point, and then start laying. Dilly dilly.